Guys, what's going on? And thanks for tuning in to Legatum Gaming, where this week is another vendor reset. So, like most weeks, what I will do is I will go through all of the checkpoints and all of the safe houses, including the Dark Zone and, of course, the open world. So, if you guys check the description below, I will put timestamps of all of the best weapons, gears, and mods just to make it a little easier for you. Alright, so let's get straight into this week's weekly vendor reset. So, at the hub in the advanced weaponry vendor, they've got a couple weapons I want to show you. Now, first off is the Vector 45. So it's a pretty decent weapon with 21.5% critical hit chance. It has brutal, ferocious, and fierce. Now, you could swap out Ferocious here if you want to make it a PvP weapon, and you could put in something like Deadly or maybe Competent works quite well with this, so it's entirely up to you. If you wanted to make it PvE and go on farming, I would recommend keeping Ferocious and getting rid of Fierce. Again, if it's to do with PvE, then depending on your build, you could maybe put like Skilled or Talented or something like this, and it would work pretty well. However, PvP would be my first option. Second of all, they have the Lightweight M4. Now, although the enemy armor damage isn't great, so it's not max at all, like it's 18%, so, you know, it's pretty bad. However, the talents on it are pretty reasonable. So it has Deadly, Adept, and Intense. Now, of course, my recommendation is to swap out Intense, and of course it's in the third slot, which means you can put in whatever you want. Now, normally Adept wouldn't be viable, but considering Classified is here, I mean, you guys can see my stats. I haven't got really any Classified on at all, I don't believe, and my stats are pretty high. So now Adept is more viable, and you don't need to spec too much into electronics. You can actually unlock it quite easily. So back to the actual talents, my recommendation is Deadly, Adept, and maybe Competent would work quite well here, or Brutal. So again, it's entirely up to you, and you could actually use this for both PvE and PvP. The special equipment vendor this week offers you a pretty reasonable Vigorous Vest. So let's check it out. So it has 1163 electronics with 4% all resistance, 7% skill haste, and 54% ammo capacity. Now, it's not the best, however, the armor is pretty reasonable at 1936, so my recommendation here is to either swap out armor, and you can either put it in firearms, stamina, or indeed increase the electronics. Depending on your build, it's entirely up to you, so you guys can make the choice. Now, all resistance is pretty underrated. However, it would be better to swap out or increase electronics here and actually keep the 4% all resistance. Now, of course, you know, there's not too much more in the special equipment vendor. They need to update this because now Classified's out. No one really buys the old style gear, if you like, so it's pretty much obsolete. In terms of the exotics this week, there's nothing major at all. Cassidy's pretty poor. Historian has got the worst headshot damage I can imagine, and the Liberator has pretty reasonable enemy armor damage, however, poor talents. So the only thing I would recommend checking out for this week, if you did want it, would be the Vigorous chest. Now, whilst we're down here, we can go check out the special blueprint vendor. So we have the Super 90 blueprint, the converted USC blueprint, stamina knee pads, stamina mask, heavy magazine, and of course the XP50 SPS 3 holographic sight, or 53, whichever way you want to look at it. So these are the 6 blueprints they have this week. Nothing too major. However, this is everything, so I actually have them all this week. So I say each week, always check it out yourself in case like you can't see it, or the video you're watching, they actually already have the blueprint, therefore they may not be able to see it. So once you've already got the blueprint, you cannot see it in the blueprints vendor. I say it each week, but I keep stressing it. However, I don't have all the blueprints, if you like, which means that I can show you them. So all the blueprints you're seeing here, or the main ones at least, with the 256 gear score, are the ones which are actually active. So Super 90, converted USC, stamina knee pads, stamina mask, heavy magazine, and of course the EXP, let's go for 53 holographic sight. So these are the blueprints for this week. The Kerman station this week offers you a pretty reasonable MP5 ST. Now, it does have 19.5% critical hit chance, so it's not the best, however, it's certainly not the worst. The talents on it are Commanding, Fierce, and Brutal. So 3 pretty reasonable talents, or at least 2, sorry, shall I say. My recommendation here is to swap out Commanding, and of course, put in whatever you want. Deadly works really well with an SMG, so that would be my main recommendation here. However, Competent is also pretty reasonable. However, it is a pretty nice MP5 if you didn't already have one, or you wanted one with these talents. The Cavern safe house has a pretty reasonable prototype performance mod, so it's 2% critical hit damage. So just thought I'd throw it in there for those people who do want to increase their damage and also spec into a pulse, then certainly check this out. Haze Run, they have a God roll 4% turret damage mod. So this actually was out about 3 weeks ago, and I haven't seen it in like the last 6 months, opposed to the actual 3 weeks ago. So for those people that didn't manage to pick it up, then of course head over here and you can get a 4% turret damage mod. Okay, at the Ward safe house, now I've had a couple of people ask for this, specifically stamina damage to elites. However, I haven't come across it yet, so I thought I'd throw it in there. It's not the best one at all. However, 187 electronics with 3% damage to elites. Now I know a lot of people do like speccing into this, especially with the global events, so if you did want to check it out, then of course head over to the Ward. At East 42nd DZ checkpoint, they have a pretty nice prototype electronics mod. So it's 246 electronics with 3% skill haste. Now I know the electronics isn't too high, and I know as a general rule of thumb, people kind of go 260, 250, 260 onwards. However, for those people that are struggling to find a pretty reasonable one to increase their skill haste, whilst also maintaining their electronics, then certainly do head over and check it out. Okay, at 5th Avenue checkpoint, which is DZ1 South, or the most southern checkpoint on the DZ, they have a really nice prototype performance mod. Now I know there's a couple reclaimers out, and it's really OP. So in addition with this, a 7% support station range would be really nice, and also a great addition. So for those people that did want to make their kind of reclaimer build or support build a little better, then do head over to DZ South and check it out. Okay, at DZ6 Safe House, they have a pretty nice Alpha Bridge holster. Now, I know that classified's out. However, for those people that don't want to do the grind, or at least those people that can't find classified Alpha Bridge holster, then of course, check these out. So the firearm's 1240, stamina 1253, and electronics 1215. Also comes with 4% critical hit chance, and the armor is really good, so 984. So do certainly check these out if, of course, you didn't want the grind. Alright guys, and we're finally at DZ9 Safe House. So, not a bad vendor reset this week, however, not the best. So let's check out what they have in the last Safe House for us. What I've picked up as is the Banshee Shadow Holster. So, pretty reasonable, again, not classified, however, the armor is at 1000, so really nice armor. Firearms, 1260. Stamina 1263 and electronics 1188. Also comes with 7,300 health, so a really nice holster in general. My recommendation here is actually swap out the health, and you guys could either have critical hit chance or of course skill haste. Entirely up to you. However, you guys can make the choice. You may even want to put in or spec higher electronics. I'll leave that one with you. However, do check these out. In addition, if we go downstairs, they have a really nice extended mag. So let me check this out for you. There we go, 121% magazine size, 4% critical hit damage, and 5.5% rate of fire. So really nice magazine and really nice Banshee holster, so do check them out. And of course, that leaves us to the last part, at least the ending of the vendor reset. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy the video, and of course, if you do have any feedback, then do let me know. I guess if you did enjoy the video, then a subscribe would be greatly appreciated, and of course, don't forget to tick that bell for more content. Have a great day, guys.